Okay, so this module is one where I might actually unleash the geek chic a little bit. This is all about surprising facts about drones. Okay, so in the previous module, I talked a little bit about some of the cool uses and how drones actually have their own origin story. But in this module, I really want to tell you some of the cool, weird and wonderful things and ways in which drones are being used. But before I go any further, I feel like I should just put a little bit of a sort of a quotes in here in that a drone isn't necessarily just something that flies. If you think about it, it's anything that's not got a pilot on board or is being controlled in an automated or semi-autonomous fashion. And before I go any further than that, there's no such thing as autonomous drones. When people say a drone is flying autonomously, they're technically incorrect. They actually mean that the drone is flying in an automated fashion. But more of that later, and back onto our wonderful surprising factoids. Okay, so though we talked about with Samuel Pierpont Langley that the first drone or unmanned aerial vehicle that ever existed was made out of wood, I mean, who would want to fly something made out of wood? I mean, that's going to be quite heavy. It's going to burn up the batteries really quickly, right? So nowadays you'll find that some of the long-range fixed-wing aircraft are made from things like carbon fibre composites. And this is what our new Boeing Dreamliners are made of. It's very light material, very strong material, slightly flexible, so it allows movement in the wind and allows movement to do with all the pressures of flight, but it actually holds its form. And that's really quite great material to use for a drone, actually. We've also got people now using plastic. So all of your little quadcopters or the commercial drones that you can buy from the high street, typically made primarily of plastic with bits of metal. And most of the blades nowadays are plastic. They're not necessarily metal either. Some of the racing drones will have metal and some will have plastic. You don't really tend to find things like glass involved with drones anymore, apart from maybe in the lenses of the cameras. So the reason why I mention this is it always kind of surprises me on how we're developing the next generation of drones. So drones that have fixed wing are one thing, drones that have multi-rotors are another, but the key nowadays is something called a hybrid drone, and this is a bit of a surprising factoid. A lot of the delivery drone systems that we're looking at that might be delivering blood to remote communities or road accidents, or might be delivering you a burrito or an emergency hairdryer on a Tuesday, those drones tend to have something called vertical takeoff capability, but then with a fixed wing flight that is very, very fuel efficient. One of the limiting factors, surprisingly, around drones isn't actually the law on how you fly them. It's actually their battery time. So if you want to have a very long-range flight on an aircraft, we've now surprisingly got hybrid batteries and hydrogen fuel cells that are being put onto drones. We even have some drones operating with very, very small jet engines. We have other drones that are very long-range drones that can fly for 10 to 20 hours on petrol, on like 3 or 4 litres of fuel. So these drones can go through cyclones, they can go and do long-range environmental monitoring, very different to the kind of things that you're buying on the high street. Drones actually have an awful lot going for them. They're being used to climb up buildings and clean windows. They're being used to map the ocean's sea floor. They're being used to hunt down and kill crown of thorns starfish on the Great Barrier Reef. Surprising fact about drones is that nothing really surprises me about drones anymore. The idea that taking a human out of the loop actually keeps that human safe. They still have a job, but it means their job's slightly different. But that drone is then the workhorse of that particular piece of work. Another surprising fact about drones is that they've been around for a very long time commercially. So yes, we've got the historical aspects, but in the current form of the drone industry, Australia here, we were one of the first in the world to legislate for commercial drone usage back in 2002. So we're now in 2019. So 17 years of work and research has gone into developing the commercial drone industry. And in that time, there are some amazing projects that have taken place, and we'll talk about some of those later in the series. So I guess to summarize this piece of conversation, the surprising thing for me about drones is they're being made in ways with materials that are so diverse now and so different to how they used to be. They're kind of reaching their own maturity as part of a complex aviation system. They're becoming smarter, faster. They're able to do onboard processing. They're able to carry payloads that have been miniaturized in size and collect data in ways we've not been able to do before using drones, even the small ones. So when you think about it, All the research that's going in to make cameras and sensors smaller is perfect for the drone industry. All the research that's going in to make hybrid fuel cells and hydrogen fuel cells is perfect for the drone industry. And all the work that's going in into our drone cars or driverless vehicles, setting up telecommunication systems inside our cities, is perfect for the drone industry. So we're going to be able to take advantage of all of these other new technologies and apply them directly to the drone world, to the drone industry. And so it won't be long before you see drones flying around your local city or town CBD.